Hi friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope you all are working hard to achieve your goal. And sorry guys, due to some personal work, I did not get time to make videos. But from now, I will make regular videos to help you in your preparation. So let's start. The agenda of this video is firstly how to write good answer, because if you write good answer you will get good marks. And secondly, sometimes you will have limited content regarding the question, so even with the limited content, how you can get maximum score out of it by using art of answer writing. Before discussing the art of answer writing, I would like to discuss few more things. Firstly, the structure of the written test. There will be part 1. In part 1, one question will be there and it is compulsory question. And it will consist 40 marks. Wow, 40 marks, that's huge. This question can be make it or break it, and it is compulsory. I am speculating that here coding question can be there. So you must practice some coding question on linked list, binary search tree and other important topics. Now in part 2 you will have to attempt 6 questions out of 8 questions, and this section will consist 60 marks. Today in this video I will mainly discuss this part 2. Now I will address a debate, that is quality versus quantity. Look, ideally if your answer has both quality, that is good content, and quantity, means you are also matching the word limit prescribed in the question, then you will probably get highest marks. So that's the ideal scenario. But usually what happened is, in descriptive questions conducted by ibps like rbi, nabard, it, they ask you to write 400 words for 10-mark questions. And from the perspective of IT descriptive paper, it is very difficult to match the word limit. So I will always suggest you to focus more on the quality. That means read the syllabus carefully, gather all the professional knowledge and address all the aspects that are asked in the questions in your answer. So any day good content quality is greater than quantity. But sometimes you will not have required professional knowledge, so in that case, using art of answer writing, try to add more relevant sentences in your answer. Trust me, this trick works and you can increase 2 to 3 marks 2 to 3 marks in your answer. I have seen people using these tricks in NABARD, RBI, but yes, those sentences has to be relevant to the question. And finally, you have to have good presentation skill to present your answer. There are several constraints in IBPS. Like IBPS do not allow you white spaces in the descriptive. So it is very irritating, but this is for everyone. Now I will explain the art of answer writing step by step with example. First step is read the question carefully and then try to figure out different parts or the components of the question. Then understand the core demand of the question. Believe me, many a times in exam like environment, people misread the question, or they understand only the 80% of the actual demand of the question. So it is very important to read the question carefully. For example, the question says, what do you understand by CPU scheduling algorithm? Explain any 3 CPU scheduling algorithm with use cases. This question was asked in NABARD IT paper of 2024, but there they asked 5 CPU scheduling algorithm and the question was for 15 marks, but I have modified this question for 10 marks. So here in this question I can see there are two parts. First part is, what is your understanding question. first part, your understanding on CPU scheduling algorithm, and in part 2 they are asking explain 3 CPU scheduling algorithm with use cases. So the part 2 is 3 CPU scheduling algorithm. Now you can divide it in further subcomponent. For example, the first part is there is only one component, but here divide it in further subcomponent. So you will write first CPU scheduling algorithm, second CPU scheduling algorithm, and third CPU scheduling algorithm. Then you will write use cases of each CPU scheduling algorithm. So this is how you can break the question in several subcomponents, and you don't have to do it on paper, just do this in your mind. Then the second step is answer writing. Every answer consists 3 parts. First is introduction, body, and conclusion. From my own experience, I can say there are mostly 3 type of introduction in IT paper. First one is define something in the introduction. So you can define the CPU scheduling algorithm in the introduction. Then you can set up the context. For the body, or you can write objective of something like here you can write objective of CPU scheduling algorithm in the introduction. In the introduction, I have written CPU scheduling algorithm aims to maximize CPU utilization, minimize waiting and turnaround time, ensure fairness among processes, improve system throughput and responsiveness in multitasking environment by keeping the CPU as busy as possible. So basically here I have tried to write the objective of CPU scheduling algorithm, right? Here I can also write the definition of CPU scheduling algorithm, but I didn't write it because in the body, in the part 1, I will again write my understanding on CPU scheduling algorithm. So there I have to anyway write the definition. So that's why to avoid repetition of content, I did not write the definition in the introduction. Now let's talk about the most important part of answer writing, that is how to write the body. Earlier you have done this exercise. You have divided the question into several components or subcomponents. Now for every component or subcomponent, apply this rule, that is US getting faded. Look, there was a time when US was almighty superpower, but now the superpower of US is challenged by several other countries like India, China, Russia, right? So power of US is getting faded. Jokes apart, this is an acronym where U stands for use cases, S stands for significance, or you can write it like significance or importance. F stands for feature, or you can also write it like characteristics. A stands for advantage. D stands for disadvantage. E stands for example. And D stands for definition. For each subcomponent, you try to generate the points from this direction, right? And also one thing is, look, for every component it will not be possible to write all 7 points. Even if possible, you won't have time to write so many things. So write only the necessary points that are asked in the question. For example, in part 1 they are asking you to write about your understanding on CPU scheduling algorithm. So how will you express your understanding on CPU scheduling algorithm? What I did is I write only the definition and importance. So in terms of definition and importance, I am I am describing my understanding on CPU scheduling algorithm. Here I can also write other points like advantage and other points, but that will be very much time consuming and I have to also write other answers. So I have written only the definition and importance. One thing you should note that after writing definition I have used white spaces, right? But in actual exam you cannot use white spaces. I mean, this is how the interface has been designed in ibps. So for every point write it in sub point. For example, the point is importance, then I have made a sub point efficient utilization of CPU, then I have written some sentences. So this way, first write point, then sub point, then write. Now let's talk about part 2 of the body. They are asking you to explain any 3 CPU scheduling algorithm with use cases. Now focus on this keyword explain. As they are asking you to explain, so here writing definition, explanation, use cases and example is very important. Now after writing definition, explanation, use cases and example, if you have time, then you can go for advantage and disadvantage. Writing example is always important. Whether they have asked you to write example or not, you should always write example to substantiate your answer. Here if one don't have time to write advantage and disadvantage, but he just want to write some extra point, then he can write feature. This feature point will club the advantage and disadvantage. Similarly, I have written definition, explanation, use case, example, advantage and disadvantage for shortest job first and round robin algorithm. Definition, use case, explanation, advantage and then disadvantage. I am not reading the answer line by line. You can download the PDF from the link in the description. And one thing guys, if you feel that this video adds any value in your preparation, do like, share and subscribe my channel. Now I will talk about the conclusion. Trust me, many people, I don't know why, they simply don't write conclusion. But an appropriate conclusion can fetch you 0.5 to 1.5 marks extra. And you all know that in competitive exams like this, even 1 mark plays very important role. Conclusion is the last thing. After reading this, examiner will give you marks. So it can create a good impression also. From my own experience, there are 3 ways to write conclusion in IT paper. First one is your conclusion can be forward looking. The second one, your conclusion can be balanced. And the third one is you can summarize it. But I don't recommend much this point, because if you are summarizing the content in your conclusion, in a way you are repeating the content, so it should be your last resort. Now in the conclusion I have written that thus CPU scheduling algorithm optimize process execution in operating system. So this line is somehow forward looking, and you can also call that I have summarized it also in this line. After that I have written each algorithm has strength and trade-off, and choosing the right one depends on system goals like efficiency, fairness, responsiveness. And this is a good line. This line is balanced, right? In this line I have used balanced approach. So this is how you can write a good conclusion. And finally guys, if you have any doubt, you can comment it in the comment section.